If you have traveled solo on a cruise, you were most likely penalized by doing so. The way that penalization happens is by what's called double occupancy. And what that means is when you go on the website and look at the price of a cruise, you are seeing the cost for two people in that particular cabin. Most of the time, if you change the number of guests to one, you are going to either pay that entire price by yourself, or even worse, they're going to tack on an additional fee. And my thoughts around this is that they do this to cover the cost of what the second person that's not there would be spending in the casino and on the drink package and all those additional add-ons, because sometimes those add up to more than what the actual cruise is. But luckily, a lot of cruise lines are getting with the times and seeing that us solo travelers like to travel too. And they are creating specific solo cabins. So in this video, I want to share with you guys Virgin Voyages cabins and talk through what my experience has been staying in the one that I have been in, and share some tips for how to get the best deals on them. So if you're interested in hearing about that, be sure to hit the like, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into this video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am JennDanielle, and if you are new here, I am a content creator and travel agent. Now, I always talk about Virgin Voyages because I just feel that it is my speed, and after doing multiple cruise lines, it has been the one that most aligns with the type of vacation I want to have. And one of the major things and components that I graded that on is the options that are available for solo travelers. So the fact that Virgin Voyages has cabins that don't penalize you for traveling alone, and the programming and events they have, it just really kind of elevates Virgin for me. So now, if you are new here and you have not heard me talk about the solo experience, just to go into it really quickly, when you travel on Virgin Voyages, they do a number of solo meetups every day that are done with what's known as the Happenings Cast. And so this group of people are created to help you to have a good time and help you to meet others and really be involved and to elevate your vacation. And so I really like having that option, and now it's even expounded to where they do these type of events every day as well as a group dinner. So you can go to dinner with other solo travelers, and it's just been the easiest cruise line I have found to meet other solo people. In addition to that, there are a number of specialty restaurants that Virgin Voyages has on board, and of those restaurants, most of them have a bar that you can sit at. And this is really important because a lot of times when I talk to new solo travelers, their biggest fear is eating alone in a restaurant. Because face it, who wants to sit in the middle of a huge restaurant and be standing out looking like they're alone? And with Virgin Voyages, I have found that the bar that they have is perfect for you to sit at. It's really kind of gives me the feel of what it would be like to go out alone at home if you ever go to restaurants in your hometown. And so I like being able to sit there. The bartender, if they're not super busy, will kind of talk to you. And so it really gives you like a different feel. So those are some of the things that have really stood out to me as far as the solo experience. But the number one reason why I love Virgin for solos is because of the option of having these solo cabins. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about the two options that I have seen and that I've stayed in, but I'm also going to talk about a third option that is technically not a solo room, but you can get a good deal on. So let's get into these options as I break down and show you each one. So the first one is the solo inside, and this is most likely going to be the cheapest option that is available. Now, I will tell you with these solo cabins, they are limited. There are less of these two cabin types than any other on board. And so if these are something that you're interested in doing, you need to plan ahead and you need to act quickly because they are typically the first rooms to go. Now, starting with the solo inside, you are going to have everything you need. And one of the things that I love is that they did not compromise on the tech or some of the fun things that are in the room that Virgin Voyages is known for. Although this room is an inside room, which means you don't have a window or balcony or anything to get daylight, I get exceptional sleep here. So if you're someone who is really looking for a relaxing vacation where you can get some rest, this is probably going to be a great option for you. You also are going to have your standard tablet that works everything in the room, from the mood changing lights to the TV to the temperature. So you still have control over your temperature and everything you need there. And you're going to have water delivered to your room, your TV, of course, and just, the bare necessities. So this is a room for someone who wants to be kind of forced to go out their room and talk to people, or who doesn't mind staying in their room and hermiting away from people. So it's kind of like one of the extreme rooms. So if you just want to get on Virgin Voyages as cheaply as possible, I highly recommend getting this room. I have stayed in it once and I absolutely loved it. I stayed in it for my first Virgin cruise. So I will say, once you stay in some of the other rooms, it's sometimes hard to downgrade and go back to, say, an inside room after you experience the balcony and the hammock and all of that. So if you are looking for a good starter cruise, a way to get on as cheaply as possible, this is going to be the room for you. Now, I will tell you the bathroom is about the size of any other bathroom on the ship as far as like the standard Sea Terrace. So the bathrooms are just small across the board. So you're going to get that same amount, of course, with your shower, your toilet and all of that, just basic necessities. So this cabin is perfect for those of you who just are looking for that getaway and really don't care about what the room is like. Next up, we have the Solo Sea View, which is not to be mistaken for the standard Sea View, which is made for 2 people. Now, when I first saw the Solo Sea View room, I could not believe how nice it was and how much bigger it seemed than a lot of the other cabins. Now, I will tell you, these are the most scarce cabins on board. There are only 6 of them for each sailing. Once those 6 are gone, there are no more. And another thing to note about these is each of them are located at the very forward of the ship. So if you're someone who doesn't want to be at the very front of the ship, this probably isn't going to be the cabin type for you. Now, I will tell you, for me personally, I felt more of the waves and rocking of the ship being in the forward. So that would be the only thing that would keep me from wanting this cabin type. But when you look at the spacing and the layout, it's kind of worth it. It's kind of worth the risk. So walking into the room here, you guys will see you have your window. It doesn't open or anything, so you're not going to get any fresh air, but you can at least look out and see daylight and know that it's daylight. And I love the fact that the closet is tucked here in the corner. And so it's, kind of far back, and it gives the room this illusion of being just a lot bigger. I guess it's just the angle of where it is. And, the fact that the ship is pointed towards the front. So the room has to be shaped a little awkward. This little area in front of the bed is a little difficult to navigate where there's not a lot of room. But outside of that, I feel this room is a little bit bigger than what I have had in some of the Sea Terrace rooms. So this is going to be perfect for you if you are looking for a little bit of a step up. You book early enough and you can catch one of these. Now, of course, I was telling you guys I am a travel agent. So if you are interested in getting this cabin or any other cabin for any Virgin cruise, reach out to me. I would be happy to take a look and see if we can score you one. Now, I will tell you, I have probably booked maybe 3 of these out of the hundreds of bookings that I've done, just because they are so scarce and sell so quickly. So if you're interested in this, act fast. Now, you really can't talk about Virgin Voyages without talking about their Sea Terrace balcony rooms. Now, I will tell you guys, these are not considered to be solo cabins, but you can always book these. I think a common misconception when it comes to solo travelers is that you can't book any room you want. You can book any room you want to. It's just probably going to be a little bit more expensive. But another thing I like about Virgin is that they tend to do some specials where they allow solo travelers to, they call it like a solo supplement sale. And so as a solo traveler, you can get a balcony cabin for a discount of the price. And so right now there are specific sailings that this is available on. I've seen a couple of them that are really good out of Miami, Barcelona, as well as Greece. So they're all over. You just kind of have to keep in touch with your travel agent to know which sailings they are. But you can get one of these cabins at a discounted rate and not pay for the 2 sailors, which is great. So I figured we might as well go through and I'll show you guys what the Sea Terrace looks like, because this really is the ultimate way to travel on Virgin Voyages. So of course you have your balcony with your hammock, and everybody loves laying out on the hammock. I know I do. That's the only thing. It would be so hard to go back to a solo cabin because I would miss the hammock so much. But you have, a good amount of space in the room. Just like with all the other rooms, you have your tablet, you have your lighting, you can control the temperature. So everything technology-wise spans across each of the options for the cabins. Like I was saying, your bathroom isn't much bigger than what it would be with one of, say, the solo options, but you have your bathroom there, and just everything that you need in this Sea Terrace. So if this is a room that you are looking for doing, I will tell you as a solo traveler, I do feel that it's worth the splurge, especially if you're someone who doesn't know that you want to be, say, meeting people the whole time or super talkative, and you want to be able to get away from people and have your privacy and have your alone time without having to leave your room or find a space around the ship. I feel like this is great. And sometimes when I have just talked myself to death on a trip, I need my time to decompress. And so I love being able to go out in my personal hammock at night and feel safe, and, where I'm not like laying out, around the ship. Sometimes I fall asleep in the hammock. I'm not even going to hold you. So this is a great option and something that I think is worth the upgrade, especially if you can catch one of those solo supplement deals or sales that they have. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a walkthrough of the different solo cabin options. Of course, if you're interested in booking any of these, I would love to help you. Be sure to reach out to me via email and let me know what you thought of this video in the comments, or if you've stayed in any of these rooms. I will see you guys back for the next one. Bye.